MMatcher by Melda is most of all an EQ matching tool. It takes the frequency curve of a reference file and compares it to the frequency curve of audio you want matched, and auto-applies a compensation EQ curve so your audio matches the reference track. On top of that, it also adjusts the level and stereo field. That means you can use MMatcher to match your audio with something else you want it to sound like, frequency-wise. There are two ways to start using this plugin. First is to use the Analyze Audio function to both learn the frequency curve of your audio and that of a reference audio track. Insert MMatcher and let your audio play while you analyze input. Let it play for so long that you don't see any changes in the frequency display anymore. Do the same for reference. After this, the plugin will auto-match the frequency curve and, if needed, the stereo field. The second way is to use the Analyze input as before, but use one of the many reference profiles that come with this plugin. And this is one of the absolute selling points for MMatcher, in my opinion. There's a whole ton of references for guitars, headphones and masters. But whichever one you choose, you only will be applying an EQ curve. There's no match in attack, sustain, harmonics and so on. That said, it can be really useful, some more than others. Let's start with electric guitar. As far as I can judge, these guitar references seem best suited when you record your guitar directly in your DAW and use something like an amp simulator to model your guitar sound. All references are electric guitar models and not amps. Insert MMatcher after the dry DI recording. Here are some of those references on this funky guitar. I will use the same amp simulator after with the same settings. Now, because of the different EQ on the DI, the amp can react differently, and that can result in things like a different attack. Here's some acoustic guitar. Now, unfortunately, MMatcher does the same thing as other EQ matching capable plugins. It can boost the extreme lower and higher end a lot to try to match the reference. Now with, for instance, FabFilter's Pro Q, you can simply turn off the frequency node that does the boost. With MMatcher you can exclude which part you don't want matched. Now, if you like this breakdown so far, please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. This video is sponsored by DistroKid. If you need to split the revenue of your releases with multiple collaborators, DistroKid has splits. This enables you to, very simply, split the revenue you make. Add as many collaborators for a release you want and decide how much of the cake they get in percentages. On top of that, you can set recoupments as well, so if you agree on a fixed fee instead of royalties, this is the way to do that. Get 7% off of your first year with DistroKid by using the link in the description. The headphone matching you can do with MMatcher need a different approach. You pick the headphone you use as input analysis source instead of using the input analysis, and choose whatever you want it to sound like as a reference. Besides other headphone models, you have some more global standards to pick from. These make your headphones more linear. This way you can use MMatcher as a sort of sound ID alternative. Make sure to use MMatcher on the master bus as a final plugin after limiting and all, and disable it while exporting. Now what I personally find the most interesting part of MMatcher are all the mastering EQ references you get. Most of the references you get are pretty old. There are very little tracks from the last 3 years or so included. Even of the last 10 years, the tracks are underrepresented. This isn't necessarily bad. Good mixes to reference have been made enough over the last 6 or 7 decades. But if you want to reference the latest new bangers, you have to capture them yourselves. Now, to get a better idea of how correct these included references are, I made some captures myself with MMatcher and based those upon the ones that are provided within the plugin to get a proper comparison. Let's start with some indie rock. With the MGMT Electric Feel preset, I got basically the exact same results between my own capture and the one in the plugin. This is the preset. This is my capture. Especially the low end is different. And on the same track I also used the Mr. Brightside of the Killers reference. This is the preset. And this is my capture. The results are really close, there's only a bit of a difference in the high end. This is not bad at all. The difference can be because of which part of the song was captured in the reference and by me. Now, with this drum and bass track I had pretty different results. Here is the Noisia Dead Limit preset. Here's my capture. Here's the original Noisia track as reference. Yeah, when I use my capture on this track, it matches the Noisia sound, while the provided reference sounds really different. Since I will probably get a copyright claim now on this video anyway, here's Goldie's Inner City Live. First, the original track. This is my capture. And this is the preset. The difference between the preset and my capture is massive. The preset sounds so different than the original as well. Don't know why, maybe it's a different version, so who knows. But this doesn't help in trusting how correct these capture presets are. It can be good, it can also be vastly different, and I think if you want to be safe, you have to capture your own reference. In essence, MMatcher works exactly like other EQ matching plugins, but the workflow is pretty easy and you get that ton of references built in. Future updates will add more categories and stuff, but never buy on what is promised. Try it out and find out if it works for you now and to see if it fits in your audio toolshed.